Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of the code. The fundamentals of the code are better than Bitcoin's fundamentals. The inflation model is better than Bitcoin's inflation model. The staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. It's decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things. Well, ahoy, crypto pirates, hexicans, degens, all around the crypto sphere. Hello to all of you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know there are better places that you can be, but for some reason you decided to come here. So I appreciate you. For any of you who came over from Instagram, if you don't know, before the show now, I've been doing an Instagram, 15, 20 minute behind the scenes with me and the producer and what's going on here. I started just kind of like filming the whole show from behind the scenes for Instagram, but it wasn't working because you had to listen to me sit there in silence for a while. But I think what I'll do is, I still haven't fixed my damn camera. I think is what I'll do is I will do the 15 minutes behind the scenes and then my intro monologue, rant, whatever it may be for the day. And then I'll shut Instagram down and we'll just go straight to the show. Just trying out new formats. SJ's been working really hard behind the scenes. Tip of the hat to Wild SJ for doing all the hard work that she's doing. Man, I'll tell you what, this AI stuff is freaking the bomb diggity. I mean, she's all over it like a fat kid on a cupcake trying to figure this stuff out. And it's phenomenal. The AI stuff is phenomenal. The things that you can do with it. Ran into something interesting here. So in the past, like especially my generation and like being in the field and being a blue collar worker and all that stuff, I found that, you always wanted to bring somebody new in, greenhorn, and teach them the old way of doing things first, like the manual stuff. Like if you had, a new tool that made your job easier, you didn't want them to start there with the easy stuff. And I think some of it was ego with us. Like, it's like, no, screw them. I had to hand jack this damn freaking 50,000 pound machine up. Let them do it versus just leveraging it with a forklift or a hydraulic jack or something like that. Get on there and pump that thing with your hands, And in some cases, going back to the manual operations of things or the old way of doing things gave you an insight into how to use the new technology or the new tool better. Sometimes it was ego. Today, I'm seeing things like, so my producer comes up to me and says, hey, look, this AI tools and blah, blah, blah. And it's just a complete, puts her in a completely different position as a producer with these tools than she was literally a month ago or 2 months ago. And the technology has literally just flipped that quickly. And there are people that are saying, no, SJ, you need to go and do all this and that and this and that and learn this first and learn that first and learn these things first and learn those things first. And when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's exactly right. Learn the old school. And then I thought about it for a minute and I said, you know what? Not in tech. Not in tech. It's one thing to learn programming the old way, the if-thens and all that stuff versus C++ and then .NET and then boom, 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 and went all in. And gosh, I don't even want to hear it from you guys, from you tech guys, if I say anything wrong. But in tech, you need to use the tools that are available to you today, learn them, utilize them as best you can, and because the next thing is coming out again. Why waste your time learning old tech stuff and then implementing new tech stuff? Now, use the new tech. Use the new tech, learn it, forget about the old stuff, and make yourself better for it. Because the AI stuff is where it's at. That's where it's at. Let me see. There we go. Trying to get the mic. I got to get a new foamy thing on the mic here. So anyway, that was my 2 bits on technology and this new AI. Man, just advance yourself. Get in there, jump in, dive in, learn it. And because something new is coming out soon, something new will be out. And forget learning the old ways of producing this stuff. Anyway, without further ado, I want to bring up my guest. My guest is a Hexagon community member who was one of the people who he was kind of one of the first people that I recognized as like the betterment of our community. Not saying that he was better than anybody, like, Crypto Coffee from the beginning, he's been amazing, brilliant young mind in the crypto space, putting out freaking some of the best content that we've ever seen. And if his numbers show it. But I always knew that there were going to be better of us, that we were going to get better streamers. We were going to have people that were well-spoken, that understand the space, that dug in deeper, that did really good jobs on their production quality. And this guy here was one of the first to kind of make me proud of the Hex community, was RH Max, who's coming up right now. And I just really enjoyed seeing the community advance and having somebody like him. And it just like gave me hope that, yes, we're getting better. New ones are coming, and nothing can stop us now. Hold on. Let me look at the private chat. Okay. They're just talking about my bad mic issue. Anyway. All right. I'm going to bring him up now. Hexagon extraordinaire, RH Max. What's up, dude?
What's happening, RG3? Wow. I'm honored, man. Like that's really what I tried to bring when I first, I've been following Richard forever, but when I first entered the community and started interacting and started streaming otherwise, that's really what I wanted to bring to the table. It's like a healthy form of just like loving these products, loving these ideals, interacting with the community, not starting drama, just like, avoiding it as much as possible, still telling the truth, still being objective, but like not trying to piss everyone off, and just like, but still addressing things from time to time. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's literally what I try to do. So I thank you for the acknowledgement.
Well, you've done it. And like I said, you made me proud. Just watching your demeanor and how you've handled things. You came into the space with the name that was like, okay, this guy's, he's got it right. He's not going to be shilling other stuff and whatnot. And you've been critical. You've criticized Richard, Hex, PulseChain, PulseX sacrifices, all of it. You've never held back anything and been like a patsy or a fluffer or anything like that. You've actually, questioned things and brought intelligent conversations, and you've kept a cool head about it all, and avoided the arrows from the community too while doing it, because of your demeanor and what you've done. So my hat's off to you, man. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is we can have conversations that, they don't have to be just all about Richard or how he's so great. I mean, I love the guy. He does awesome work. He created best products, Sci-Vibe, all that stuff. But at the same time, is the important part. The community, the code is locked, all that stuff. If he disappeared tomorrow, or if he starts moving funds around or otherwise, like we don't need it. But if it happens, it's cool. So yeah, just the ability to really, again, I do a lot of things different than other streamers. I don't monetize. I don't do a lot of things to keep me, my name, like you mentioned. I pigeonhole myself. I don't want to look at other ecosystems. I pigeonhole myself. RH Maximus ain't doing Solana streams, like, that kind of thing. So, and I'm not the only one. I don't think either. I think I'm very explicit about it, but, I look at Coffee, I look at Wells, yourself even, I don't see you, going over and like, just be like, you know what, PulseChain's cool, Hex is cool, but there's some other things I want to talk about today, other than, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, those are for a reason. Right. So, yeah, how you and a lot of the big people in the community who are just, living, it's weird to be criticized for being loyal or criticized for sticking to your principles or otherwise. And I don't mind, because I know that's what I want to do. So it's all cool.
I've learned that one thing that is definitely always going to happen, or is never going to go away, is you are going to get criticized one way or the other, no matter what you say. It's either going to be, I've had people, basically, jump into my DMs and tell me how much they love me and thank you so much. And in the same stream, the same thing I said, somebody else says, screw you, you're an asshole, I'm done with you. You're going to get it no matter what. And, I listened to Joe Rogan one time say, what, he goes, I don't look at my Twitter. I don't look at any of that stuff. I don't care about the comments. I don't care about what anybody's saying. I just go and do my thing. And that was real hard for me to understand because this community was so small, and literally like all the people in it were my friends at one point, like close, we became close friends. And so it was really hard for me not to look at the comments and take them personally, especially from people that I've known for a couple of years or so. You know, it was difficult. But that's one thing I want to dig into real quick. So here on this show, what I like to do is, yes, we talk about crypto. Yes, we talk about the Hex and PulseChain ecosystem. But I also want to get to know the community members. I also want to get to know my guests. And I want to do it in a way where we're touching on kind of 5 pillars. And those 5 pillars are mind, body, spirit, relationships, and finances. Those are, I think, the pillars of life that you need to master in order to be free, I guess. I don't like to say happy, wealthy, all that stuff. I like to say free, because freedom to me is that thing that we're really all seeking for. The freedom to be able to do what we want, where we want, when we want, with who we want, and the style that we want to do it. That's really the ultimate in happiness, is being free, you know? Mm-hmm. And I want to know what you do in these areas to do that. So first of all, you being in crypto, you being, an influencer out there, what is it that you do to prepare your mind for what's coming, for the week, for the next day, for the month? Is there something that you do? Are there books that you read? Is there, what does RH Max do to better his mind when it comes to the crypto space?
Yeah, it's definitely something. I try to live my life very efficiently and like optimize for things that I'm interested in and want to do. So, I've definitely consumed a lot of content, I have a family and so on. So I kind of got to, fit my times in for streaming, fit my times in for creating content. Luckily, flexibility with work and otherwise is pretty good. But yeah, it's a good question. I do to kind of just be the way I am. I don't know. I think just principles, honestly. I think I have a mission. I think that's what separates maybe me from perhaps a lot of people in the community, is like, I have a mission. I want to do something. I want to be like the greatest version of myself, for example. I want to contribute and give back to this community that's given me so much. I want to be a force for good in the world, as Richard would say, for example. So yeah, I think just turning off the garbage. I am on Twitter, but I use the mute button very liberally. Oh, I don't block a lot of people. But boy, there's a lot of people that are muted, and it's no offense or anything like that. It's just like, hey, I need to have a clear, concise feed if I'm going to be able to operate and not be emotions up and down all the time. Like, there's a lot of stuff I just don't need to see. And if I'm going to continue to perform, and again, I always tell people, at any moment, I may stream every day or every other day or whatever. At any moment, you may never see me, and I hope that the takeaway from that is he did enough. He doesn't owe anyone anything. He did enough. And he's all for his dream or whatever. So yeah, I think optimism. I think that's one of my strengths too, is just the ability to, I came out in a bear market, right? Like, I started streaming. I got Twitter for the community. Again, I've been watching the community from afar. I've been watching you and Hexologist and everyone for a while. Of course, Richard for years, on and off. But it's like, I came out February 2022, got Twitter, started interacting a little bit, started streaming in, I think, May 22. And I was born in the fire, man. This is like my 3rd cycle. It will be. But as far as streaming and influencing and whatever all that stuff is, content creation, I was born in the Bay when everyone was sad. They were happy and they were hopeful and they were sad and they were mad and they were upset and they're happy, they're hopeful. It's like, what so many say, the anxiety, depression type of thing all the time. So
yes,
I don't know. It's just a mission oriented. That's all I got to say on that. It's like being mission oriented, like not losing your North Star. For me, I'm very hopeful for the future. And I think like we haven't even scratched the surface of glory yet. But I believe it's coming. So that's what makes me come out here and talk to everyone.
Yeah. I think that, maybe during the bear market, when we're in a bull market, we see so much positivity. We see all the really cool memes. We see everything just coming out, roses and whatnot. Because the whole crypto space is like throwing darts and you're making money. You know, I mean, anybody in any coin in the height of a bull market is making money. Like that's just the way it is. And, you know, and streamers are out, you know, happy and because they feel good about the things that they've said. I think that a problem that a lot of Hex streamers have, PulseChain streamers, you not included, because this hasn't been your MO. I think that a lot of them have had such a hard time because they did speak positively and they did throw out price predictions and they did throw out 100x, 10,000x, all kinds of stuff like that, versus being cautious during the bull run, versus being cautious before the launch. You know, saying things like, hey, usually it launches, we dip, you know, 90% after the launch, you know, and we've seen every chart do the same thing. And it's funny to me that, you know, I'm the one that doesn't read charts around here. And most everybody else out there in crypto has a chart behind them and shows, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't put a whole lot into it. And the people that have put those charts up have had to like, kind of sit back and go, okay, made some mistakes. And then they kind of get discouraged and they don't go out there and stream anymore. And we see them disappear. But I haven't seen that with you. So I guess that's still part of that mindset then. That you have a mission.
That's a good point. Like, I don't like to be wrong. Like I avoid saying things that, yeah. I mean, but I take that as part of my mindset. It's like, I avoid giving predictions. Like I really try my best. People ask predictions, they're on the channel. Oh, what do you think about Pulse X? And I'm like, sorry, I don't get predictions, but you know, if you look historically, here's what I said and all that stuff. I don't like to be wrong. So I try not to say things that may turn out later to be wrong. I'm not perfect, but I think that's one of the things that, you know, I feel like if I can avoid saying things that either look poorly or ad hominem, picking a fight, or I have no idea if they're going to be true. I'm just totally guessing. And I know I'm guessing and I'm going to get people's hopes up or otherwise because I'm guessing. Well, then I have nothing later to feel bad about if I didn't say it in the first place. So I try to avoid the whole thing. Like there's plenty of things you can talk about without just, you know, pure hopium or saying things that you can't possibly know, speculation on stuff that's, you know, just to get people excited. Like I love being excited myself, but I try to be very measured in that way. So I think that's another thing that, you know, keeps me in the mode I want to be in.
Yeah, that is one of the keys to especially this volatile space, is being measured in what you say and being sure that you're talking to the lowest denominator of your audience. And I don't mean lowest denominator by mentality or effort or anything. I'm not saying that as an insult. What I'm saying is the lowest educated in the space, the lowest educated in the content that you're putting out. You have to speak to them. I think that a lot of time in crypto, we forget about that. Like we start talking tech and we get out there and we just, you know, start word salading and throwing up all over people how awesome and cool this technology is and what it does and blah, 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 blah. And we forget that there are people there that are catching things that we're saying and they're getting excited about it, like liquidity providing or validating or, you know, catching the falling knife and trading and all of these buzzwords that get everybody excited and get people wrecked, you know, and they get a bad taste in their mouth. It really gives us the reason why so many people are afraid of crypto is because they jump into it. They follow their favorite influencer and they start doing the things that influencer is talking about or following the projects that they talk about. And it's not healthy. It's not good for the ecosystem. Even here in Hex, where we're very positive about what it is we're talking about, what we're doing. And I've always felt confident about shilling Hex 100%, because I know now for a fact, I was there in the beginning. I listened to Richard before he came out with Hex. I was there when he launched it. I invested myself into it. And then I put my whole basically life into it by, you know, providing content and helping outreach and whatnot. So I feel 100% confident about my shilling of Hex. Everything else is suspect. And I think that's the healthy approach, is to, hey, these are the things I understand, but, you know, you got to take all this with a grain of salt because crypto can get you wrecked.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, just to your point of like, there's a lot of temptations to, you know, give the people what they want or do, you know, that's why I don't do clickbait, for example, either. like my goal, my mindset when I produce content and I clip stuff, and I got like 2,000 clips on the channel at this point, is when somebody clicks on my video, the title can be as engaging, as flashy as possible. But if they click on the video, I don't want them to ever be disappointed that they didn't get what they thought they're going to get. And again, these are just these principles I try to go by. I'm not perfect. I don't always get it right, but I try to, like, I want you to click on the video, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to make it as exciting but clear as possible. And I hope you click on it. But if you don't, that's okay. But I don't want you to click on it and be like, oh, this is clickbait. Like, I don't think so. Those little things, I think, is again what I put my approach. And again, price predictions, I don't do those. And then just there's so many temptations. Like I said, I see so many people on Twitter just posting things. I'm like, there is no benefit. And you're obviously going to be, there's a good chance later on you're going to be proven wrong, or you're going to get someone wrecked, or you're just saying something that, how could you possibly know that? How could you possibly know that with certainty? And in a sea of uncertain things, in this ecosystem, everything's uncertain, right? Like in crypto, everything's uncertain. All I can do is place my bets accordingly. In a sea of uncertainty, I can say, which ones do I think they're going to succeed? I can place my bets. Like, I don't know anything's going to succeed, but I can place bets where I think they're going to work out.
Yep. that is the best approach that we can take, period. I mean, that's healthy. And to your point, I named my channel after nothing related to crypto. Discourse Syndicate was just supposed to be a place for us to go and speak and have discourse about what we were doing. Syndicate is basically a consortium of financial folks getting together, and discourse was just us talking about it. So that's what it was based on. I was never really geared towards being a crypto show or anything like that. And I never really did clickbait stuff for thumbnails, and mostly because I didn't have the technological advancement to do so. So now with SJ coming in and helping us, and she's like, we have to make it a little more, appealing to the eye to people and whatnot. So that's what we've been doing, is actually trying to, make the thumbnail look like what the stream is going to be about. And so we've been working on that. So she's been doing a good job, and then we're getting more engagement because of it. So, I guess there's a happy medium somewhere, right?
Yeah. I'm glad. I mean, you guys got a crew. I'm telling you, you got, I think SJ, again, even outside before she started, working on the show and otherwise, and PulseChain Tour, putting out a lot of amazing work. You, again, you were inspirational. I literally, you, Coffee, I mean, all you guys that are just, again, you're in this ecosystem. You're not getting tempted to go out and do the most popular thing, or you're not like just getting frustrated and then saying, just leaving or whatever. I respect that so much. And like, that is pure inspiration for me. Like, I look at myself and be like, am I doing like what they're doing? Like, I feel like, at least virtually, we're on this team, and this team of like people who just won't give up. It's pretty cool.
You are of the best of us, for sure, my man. You are of the best of us. So let's change the subject a little bit and talk about, I just talked about health, and let's talk about health a little bit. You're a big guy, you're in shape. What do you do to take care of yourself physically? Are you trying to make things better? Is this just your youth that's still hanging on, or do you actually do something? Do you have a regimen? What do you do to take care of your health? Do you train? What's going on?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that, I mean, I'm definitely fortunate to not, knock on wood, no major health problems or otherwise. And I think just maintenance for me, really. I've always, I played sports and stuff a lot, and still maintain that throughout my life. And just being able to do that, do some basic exercise every day, just to, if nothing else, to clear my mind. Just go outside every day, I'll go for a run of some sort. Maybe I do pull-ups, maybe I do push-ups, whatever it is. Just get some exercise, good for your mental health, good for your physical health. But yeah, I don't really I have a routine that I fit in exercise, but I don't do a lot unless I'm playing, a sport from time to time. Other than that, I mean, I love, again, RH Maxey for his ideals. Longevity is one of his ideals. Yeah. I mean, that's something I'm really high on. I love learning about that. I got a show tomorrow, Health is Wealth #3 with Brent and SJ. Brent, forget his last name. Brent Neri? All right, forgot. SJ, let me know in the chat.
Yeah, she'll throw it in the chat.
Yeah. I try to keep up with like the longevity stuff, and I'm definitely very supportive of that. So I think that is one of the biggest things that, I think eventually, hopefully, with everyone who succeeds in this ecosystem and they want to work on a higher calling, I can't think of anything better than keeping people healthy, keeping yourself healthy, your family healthy, everyone in the world healthy for as long as possible. So I really hope, Richard, that idea stuck with me, stuck with many other people. Hopefully it sticks, if and when we get that glory, it really sticks with people when they want to do something else with their lives. If they finally go outside after they're, financially free, all that stuff. Yeah, I think longevity, keeping yourself in shape, it's not even, I don't know. I think it's a win-win. Like I look around people my age, older, younger, they're out of shape. They're, maybe they have health problems of some sort that are either self-induced or otherwise. And I just, I don't know, life's too short. It's like, why not want to keep in the best shape you can be? And so I don't do a whole lot, but I try to do the basics. I'll say that.
Yeah. I look back on time and I remember, reading like people live to be 35, 40, back in the day. And now with all the medical advancements, we live into our 80s and 90s. Now we're talking about longevity taking us into 120, 150 and all this stuff, but when I look at reality and like my family and my friends and, people that I've grown up with and worked with, I see a lot of death from, not being healthy. I see a lot of, people that have retired and then within the first year of retirement, they're gone. It's like, whoa, what happened there? And it's common. Like in my field, it was common for guys to stop working and then within a year they were dead. It was like, wow, and that was an eye opener for me being my age. I mean, it's one thing to be young and be able to maintain, like you said, I do maintenance, I play sports when I want to, try and take care of myself. I'm outside every day. I'm doing a run. So you're taking care of yourself and maintaining. But at a certain point in life, somewhere around between 45 and 50, things change. And I've watched it in a lot of people and they just give up and they quit. The maintenance thing doesn't work anymore, or the drugs and alcohol and the bad living catches up to them. And, and I never wanted to be that person, even though I've had my own health issues, with my nerves in my neck and my back and all that kind of stuff. I just don't want to give up, so when I finally retired here and, when I switched from being a field worker, blue collar worker to, in the influencer space or whatever you might call this, I started really digging into health and supplements and diets and all this kind of stuff. And it's turned into a big conundrum, to be honest, but I'm starting to dial it in for myself. It's like, what works for me? What kind of food works for me? What kind of regimen works for me? So I'm still searching that. So I guess you guys have a while to go still before you have to worry about what's best for you.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, there's only one game, it's survive. So like you gotta, it doesn't really hit you, it hits you different points in life, but if you're not surviving, like that's over, game over. Right. So why not try to do that?
Exactly. Right on. So, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into this next question with you. But there's a space in between our mind and body. Some people call it spirit. Some people call it the universe, the power to the universe, or God, or whatever. And there's religions based around all of this stuff. Is there anything that you do that spiritually, I guess, motivates you? Or is there something that you have a regimen that works for you? Meditation, whatever it is. Is there something you do?
Yeah, definitely. I would say meditation fits perfectly in there. I mean, I was raised in a religious household, but didn't really take after a certain period of time. You never know. Still got time if I ever feel the need. Family,
yeah,
family's always.
They've always attempted to wash me off too for years and years.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst thing. I appreciate it, but no, I think meditation is one of the game changers for the past, I'd say 2023, a big part of 2023 was just getting more in touch with the spiritual side, however you may define it. And like I always tell people, the Sam Harris Waking Up app is just phenomenal. It's just like you can do meditation, you can listen to different stuff. I mean, you don't even have to agree with his politics. I literally don't agree with Sam Harris's politics most of the time. And I used to love him. And then I used to be like, oh, I don't want to listen to this guy anymore. And then I found out he made the Waking Up app. And I'm like, you are my hero. You're amazing. I don't care what else in life you do. You made this app. You're the man. So I think meditation and doing that on a daily basis or, regular basis, whatever cadence you want to do, just really helps me at least, just relax, kind of think things through or not think at all. Different ways. I mean, there's 100 different flavors of meditation, the way you can do it, guided versus not guided, all this stuff. But just the ability to just recognize your thoughts, make peace with things, not get everything tangled up, not go throughout your day just gritting your teeth, just like finding ways to be at peace and just, whatever happens, it's okay, that sort of thing. And, whether you're going through a hard time or not, that's a powerful thing for you to, they call it a new operating system for your mind. It really is. It can really, I literally don't see any downside. Like, I think if everyone in the world meditated for 10 minutes a day, like we'd be in a much better place. Like, it's just obvious.
Yeah. And the first three pillars, the mind, the body, and the spirit, that I like to talk about with human beings. When I sit down and talk to somebody, those are the things I like to know about them, because it's those things that you do that actually affect one another. Like you just said, meditation, you actually can add things like breathing techniques, cold dips, saunas, along with your meditation and all these things. So the physical and the mental and the emotional or spiritual all kind of intertwine with one another to make a person who they are, a holistic approach to the pillars of who somebody is, has to do with all of those things being related to one another. I'm looking a lot into, the Wim Hof of breathing techniques and the cold plunges and those kinds of things. Because a lot of these things that they're coming out with now, we're talking about neurological defects or neurological issues. And I have a lot of those. I've had arms go numb. I've had my neck and my spine basically, debilitate me. So, yeah, those meditations and putting all of those things together are part of the pillars. But one thing you just said about, like pushing out the negativity and whatnot. And I just saw this, Chris put this up. Huey Lewis calls it the power of love. And I remember that song, of course. But there's two mindsets here. It's literally this basic, I think, and you tell me what you think. And it's the power of fear or the power of love that makes your day better or worse. And love has and love and fear have a big spectrum of where they sit on. Like, love can be anything from trusting, and not buying into your own narrative of how horrible things are for you or whatever. Gosh, this camera's driving me nuts. And then on the other side, it's fear. It's fear of your day, fear of the work you have to do, fear of your own failures, fear of, what's to come, fear of the market. All of those things are what separate you from being spiritually like in line with yourself, is my opinion.
Yeah, it does. When you say fear versus love, it does. Just thinking the meditation format of a lot of things that, whether it's internal, external, you have like all these different games, status games and other things people play. The fear of things that I think a lot of anxiety comes from that. Whatever your situation is, whatever you're afraid of, whatever, fear of the future, fear of the present. They talk about meditation too. There's only this moment. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. You only have this moment that you're in now. And I think that's a really powerful concept. Like, what do you, in this moment, what are you afraid of, sort of thing. So if there's like, all these layers and all these different ideals and fundamentals and stuff to get into to really kind of feel your way into what, what you believe, what you want to take with you on the whole journey and stuff. But yeah, I could see a lot of fear coming from a lot of anxiety that people live with every day. I think a lot of it seems to stem from fear, and the power of love and the power of just optimism and gratitude. I mean, there's exercises you can do where it's just like, think of someone that you truly love or you truly appreciate, or is a good friend. There's no complicated relationship, all this stuff, and just practice like, being thankful to them. Just like, even in your mind to say, I wish you peace. I wish you happiness. The power of gratitude and like just giving, truly wanting other people to be happy. Not that you can do anything about their happiness, because, you can barely do anything about your own happiness. So let them worry about that. But just the emotion of like wishing someone well can just kind of fill you with that lovely kind of feeling, and maybe help you figure out whatever, or at least give you some better standing to go about your day. So there's a whole bunch of different things.
I think that exercise can be used on people that have upset you, or you dislike, or that you don't want in your life, or that are causing you problems, to wish well and think well of them, and push that out there. I think is also important, because, energy is, period. It's energy. I mean, us being in the tech space, we know mathematical equations, and we understand math, and we should understand energy too. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It just moves around, and all of us are energy, and everything that we put out there is receivable by everybody else. Wake up in the morning and just be mad, be grumpy, just feel that. You don't act it, don't yell, don't scream, don't do anything, but just feel misery. And I'll guarantee you, your whole household, as they wake up and are around you, are going to feel it. It's going to, it spreads, that energy spreads. But if you wake up and you're positive and you're happy and you're singing and everything's just glowing, you spread that too. So there's something to be said about, the power of our spirit and how we put that positive energy out there. You're definitely one of those guys, man. I've always liked the vibe that you've put out, and it's always been a positive one in this space. So kudos, bro.
Yeah. That's kind of like, I guess that would be another technique I use too. And I'm sure a lot of people do, to not, if it's so tempting to get into drama and say what you think and make sure people hear you and all this stuff. But, speaking about gratitude, if you're able to look at someone else who you're engaging with, who may be upset with you or may not understand you or whatever, and just think, well, maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe they mean well. Maybe they're well-intentioned. What am me at the keyboard? I've literally typed out tweets before, replying or otherwise, if something I'm passionate about, I'm emotional about, I'm frustrated about, whatever. And then I stop and think, who is this going to help? What is this going to do if I send this? Like, who am I helping with this tweet? Am I helping someone, or am I just venting? Am I just making it worse? Am I making it better? So literally I typed stuff out, thought about it. Maybe don't tweet that, or maybe don't send that, or maybe don't engage in this, because what's the point? I'm not doing anything to help. I'm not putting that negative energy out there. I don't want to do that.
I rarely hit the post button, bro. I go into a lot of these tweets and just, okay, you don't want to say that. Nope, you don't want to answer that way. Nope, you don't want to say that to that person. Boom, 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 boom. I do that all the time. I'll type it out. It'll make me feel better. And then I just delete it, and it's like, okay, I'm just going to go with that. And
just take a walk. You'll be better.
And that is good for relationships. Getting back into one of the other points here. One of the things that we need to do as a community, and as I guess you would call us a quasi marketing arm of the space. And I know that word isn't supposed to be said, marketing, but truth be known, we are the best advocates for people getting into cryptocurrencies and good cryptos, with Hex here. What do you do to build relationships personally and on the internet? What do you see as the value in that? And what is it that you do on a regular basis to improve on that?
Yeah, I think relationships, especially, so there's a lot of different dynamics. So you have the relationships within the community. Creating content really helps you realize this type of stuff too. You have people who want to hear what you have to say about the product, about the idea, about, Hex, PulseChain, all this stuff. Then you have people who you want to speak to, but they don't know who you are. So you need to, do, Bitcoin ETF stuff, right? You need to, like, I did a stream this morning where I was like, hey, let's just go live. Let's talk about the ETF. Let's talk about this and that, and just make sure that if there are people out there looking for good crypto, let's, we can talk about Hex and Pulse too, but like just making those connections, you can't really do that if someone's not going to click on your video or click on your content or read your Cardano versus PulseChain post if they're not, if they're not either in the mood, if they're not looking, or if they're not interested. So the relationships from people who you don't know are some of the best ROI, because again, Richard said a million times, I'm not here for you all. I'm here for all the people who aren't in yet, right? That was outrage marketing. That was all that stuff. That was the plan, to speak to people outside, because you're already in, right? Like, so having those relationships, but again, sticking to the principles of, okay, I'm not going to do Solana 24/7 rage streams. Like, I'm not going to do stuff like that, but I want to talk to people who are interested in true DeFi. I want to talk to people who want to better themselves. So having those kind of relationships and having healthy ones, not trying to push stuff down people's throat, but just being able to say, hey, if you want to have a conversation, we can have one. So people ask me too, like, what would make you give up on the ecosystem? Like, what would just make you just quit? And I think the best answer I can come up with is, if I look around and no one else is here, like there's no one else around me, I guess it's over. Then, like, I don't know what else would make you give up besides no one else here. Like, you can't be a community, you can't have relationships, you can't be the only one. And Richard knew that, and that's why we have an army, right? So relationships, there's so many different verticals go down relationships, but I think if you're trying to see people and you want your message, yeah, you can break through the noise, yeah, you can be outrageous, but also you can just give them a message that they're looking for, and there's a lot of different ways to do that.
Right on. Well, let's talk about crypto, bud. Let's get into the financial part of it. I know that, obviously one of the tools that you and I use to better our finances, and I think that the crypto space is going to be the biggest transference of wealth that the world has ever seen. In my 56 years on this planet, I've seen a lot of things come and go. I watched the internet be born. I was part of the pet rock scene back in the 70s. I've seen it all, man. And I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything so transformational in my life other than crypto. And being in it as long as I have been, since, before Bitcoin came out, and I mean, not truly diving in until 2014 myself. I've never seen anything like what Richard has done, and I'm excited about it. And we're starting to see some action. Today, we've been on a 2-year hiatus. You explained that earlier. You jumped in right when we were going down. So what's going on out there today? Let's talk a little bit about some of the excitement we've seen with some of the wallets and anything else that you want to kind of blast on.
Yeah, so I came across, I've actually been covering this for a while. So if this leads to something, if this just isn't a one-off thing, or if there is something that comes afterwards, it's going to be really funny to look at. And I think I was just lucky to cover it at the right time, because it all started a few months ago when shout out Dipcatcher, Maximus, one of Maximus DAO founders. He did a whole bunch of research around PulseChain war chest. And I've shared it on Twitter. We did videos, all this stuff. He made the document public of just tracking the different stuff with sacrifices and the wallets and different stuff of the entity that we have no expectations of. What kind of type of funds they have, stablecoins, Hex, and the different moves they've made over time, and all that stuff. So this was a few months ago. I did a stream called PulseChain War Chest, and with Dipcatcher, and we covered a whole bunch of stuff. Super interesting. And at the time, I was like, okay, this is cool. I wonder if whatever happened. I kind of almost forgot about it for a while. And then the other day, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like, I wonder, let me take a look at that war chest thing. I don't know what made me think of it. And I just got intrigued again. And I started thinking, wow, this is cool stuff. So I started covering it more. I started thinking, hey, it's the end of the year. Hey, we got Bitcoin ETF coming up. We got halvening coming up. We have macros are looking better. All these different things are coming together. I wonder, this is an interesting thing to talk about. PulseChain has been beaten down. It's below SAC price. All the other coins are too. Why hasn't these coins moved? Like, what is the point of collecting all the money if they don't go? Again, I have no expectation they ever will, but I'm just wondering, just at intellectual level, are they just going to get burned? Are they? To me, it would make sense something would happen with them eventually. That's just my hunch. So I did 2 or 3 streams where I covered, hey, what do you think is going to happen with the money? What should happen with the sacrifice money? Again, we can all just have our opinions and speculate. And did probably 2 or 3 streams. Then I had Dipcatcher back on, and then I had Neil for T-shares on, and we started getting into all kinds of other theories of like, what would, if these were your funds, if you had $600 million in stablecoins, what would you do with it? Like if you were a benevolent whale, what would you do with it? And we just gotten all these other, well, maybe you do LP, maybe you do the buying, maybe just all these different ways to do it. Again, I have video content. I released one today because I was like, oh, this is very timely. I should release it today since everyone's started talking about the thing that has been, kind of consuming for the last few hours, which has been, somebody covered this. A few other people covered it too. It appears that wallets related to the sacrifice. I think it was the arbitrage. I think it was the money, some of the money from when
it was the USDC peg unpegging, and then I think there was a purchase with DAI when the USDC unpegged, and then there was probably I think USDC got down to like 84, 81 cents, something like that, and and then there was a purchase, might have been like, I don't know, 15 million, 10 million, 15 million, something like that, as far as the arbitrage opportunity was. I'm not sure. I just remember when it happened.
Yeah. So there's an ARB. From what I understand, there was an ARB opportunity when USDC went down, as you mentioned. And the entity seemed to make made some money off the ARB opportunity, which a lot of people do. And there was like, I think, what somebody say, Sacrifice Wallet has used 4 million of its 8 million arbitrage trade. So this is not SAC money from the war chest. This is the trade that one of the entities linked to this stuff had made.
And that was a purchase today. That was a trade today. Was that I think I saw two big trades today. Was that it?
Let's see. Was it,
or was this before
recently? I think it was, I'm not sure the exact date, but it was definitely recently. I don't have dates in front of me. But it was half of, I'm looking at somebody's tweet, 4 million of the 8 million they had that was used to, I guess, buy, it looks like they bought PulseX and Hex with it. So yeah, this whole war chest thing, I covered it, talked about it, kind of forgot about it, came back. Oh, this is interesting. I wonder what, there's like $3 billion. There's 600 million stables. And then in total, there's a whole bunch of Hex. There's like billions and billions of Hex that, it's not liquid. You can't really do anything with other than maybe liquidity. We don't really expect much to happen from that. Who knows? But the stable coins was the most interesting. And then there was the 8 million that I don't even think was covered in the original war chest document that, could be used for things. So it's just the timing of this is so interesting to me. I literally just can't stop thinking about it today of people have kind of just, we've seen people leave, we've seen people give up, we've seen people capitulate, we've seen people just lose faith in this ecosystem in one way or another. And then I knew, at the back of my mind, I always thought, hey, we're going to get at some point, I don't care if it's an entity moving funds around or what, there's going to be some kind of green candles that come at some point, and it's going to start the things. It's going to start us off. I don't know if that's today. I don't know if it's sustainable, but boy, does it give me some interesting feelings of what's next. Like, why would they buy $4 million worth? Like, why will they buy another $4 million worth? Like, will the other SAC funds move? Is this part of the plan?
I've been around in the bull market, and this is the things that we've seen. We've seen whale wallets. Once the whales breach, once we see one breach, and Godwell, of course, I think there was some action today also with Godwell's wallet during all this. When Godwell's wallet moves in Hex, then everybody's like, oh shit, there she blows, and once the whales start breaching, then we see them breaching all over. And then we almost start seeing regular breachings. Like we start seeing patterns in some of these wallets where they're buying on a regular basis. And that's what really gets me fired up, is when I see those, because I remember during the whole bull market watching these wallet moves. And that's what I do now. I like to take a macro look at everything. I try not to get micro because I can just go down rabbit holes, and usually those rabbit holes end up in a dead end or something. But if you take a step back and you watch what's going on and you kind of gauge the whole crypto space, the global financial situation, everything as a whole, and then you see these wallet movements. Like I'm watching the Bitcoin wallets right now. And they were dormant and silent for, the last year and a half, 2 years. And now all of a sudden over the last 6, 8 months, there's been all of these moves going on behind the scenes. And I'm not talking about trades on that we can see that move the price. I'm talking about OTC stuff. I'm talking about you're seeing a Bitcoin wallet move $100 million worth of Bitcoin to Binance, or out of Binance into a wallet, and to an unknown fresh wallet. That's telling me there's OTC trades going on in the background, that there's something happening. People just don't risk moving that kind of money around for no reason. It's positioning itself, it's posturing, it's getting ready for what's to come. And over the last couple of weeks, I've just seen massive amount, like billions of Bitcoin moving every day, like 1 billion to 2 billion Bitcoin every day moving. I've seen some moves as big as $500 million in one move. That is like, guys, I want you to understand, like, you and I have all done crypto transactions. Like, we've sent, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is that you may have done. Those are big moves for the regular human being. But when $500 million is moved, like, literally human beings fly to a location, they meet in a secure room, they have a secure connection with servers, and those people transfer that money in the same room with each other there. That is not something that just goes willy-nilly over the internet. This is important transactions that are happening, and they're happening for a reason. You just don't move $500 million without certain types of security and certain types of reasons for that to happen. So that tells me that there's something going on in behind the scenes in this space over the last few months that are preparing themselves and positioning and posturing for something really important to happen.
Yeah, it's at this point, those reports the other day from Matrix Port about, it's unlikely to get approved and all this stuff. I cannot, can you imagine, you got all these institutional players, you got all these companies, they've made amendments, they've changed things, they've been meeting with SEC forever. Can you imagine if this, I guess I gotta ask you, like, what are the chances that we don't get it this week? Because for me, I could just see the sea of lawsuits coming from market manipulation of the SEC. You guys are literally, you're out of control, like, remove GG, all this stuff. Like, how does this not get approved?
I think that we're gonna see approval. I think that we're gonna see crypto splinter this bull run. I think that we're gonna have a DeFi and a CeFi space. I think that's what we're gonna see. We're gonna see cash, and we're gonna see banking kind of take over the CeFi space, get regulations and all this kind of stuff, and then the screws get turned down on DeFi, however that might look. I think that it's important for folks like me and you, and all the lobbyists and all the people that the PulseChain Foundation, Identity Block, and Marlon's group, everybody coming together and working on saving the DeFi space when it comes to regulatory. We've got to work hard. We've got to get louder, and they've got to see that we're regular people. See, because that's what is so important to this space right now, is the real folks like you and me getting out there and getting into social media and speaking to the people, not the furus that got paid by crypto and the CeFi space to shill all the shit that they've been shilling for the last, 5 years. And some of those people are my friends, but they're doing the wrong thing. They're not public servants. You and I are public servants. We are out there advocating for better crypto, for better money, for a better world. And we're just regular folks. We're just trying to get the word out. So we are going to have to be the representation when it comes to legislators of what the people want, because we're not bought and paid for. We're looking for something good. We're trying to change the world. And I think that that's when it's going to get more people behind us. That's what's going to get us the win, because we aren't going to win in the lobby spaces unless we throw a bunch of money at this thing. We have to throw money at it in order to get that to happen. And unless we have a really good setup and a lot of donors during this bull run, I don't know if we're going to have the power to. So then the other thing is, how do you get the masses behind it? If you can't win with the money, how do you get massive amounts of votes behind it? How do you get the regular folks to understand what it is we're saying? How do you get them to trust us versus those people that are paid and polished and look really damn good at doing what they're doing, even though they're the ones that are lying. They're the ones that are feeding people bullshit, and we're the ones with the good message. We have to figure out how to distinguish ourselves between that mess as this mess unfolds right now, because this is it. Like, this is our MOT. This is the moment of truth for DeFi. We have to get our shit together and win this fight. And, and I'm looking for people like you to get out there and fight the good fight, because we need the numbers, man. We definitely need
Hoorah. Yeah. What do you think about some of the grassroots move? Like some of the, what if we get 50K on the amicus brief? Like, how do you think we're going to be able to fight these things?
Well, that was my goal. I was told by the guys that put it all together, hey, we'll be so happy to get 5K. I said, no, fuck that, man. We're getting 50K. 50K, or else I'm not happy. And look at, here we are, 43, 44,000 and pushing. I'm going to have SJ throw that up there. We need to get on that amicus brief, guys, and get that thing signed, get it out to people. One of the ways I say to do it is get on your phone and just send it out to all your friends, family, people on your phone. Just send them the link. Say, hey, if you want to help me out, I'm into crypto. This is something that the people need to see, need to help out with. Just sign the petition. It's not that big a deal. Just read it. You'll see that I'm advocating for somebody who's done something good in crypto, and they're coming after him for no reason. And here, sign this. People need to send that out. I did it on my phone, and I've done it a couple of times. And hey, did you get my message? And because someone like, oh, I thought you were just spamming me up with some shit. No, I'm really serious about this. I want you to hit it, and take some time and get it out to as many people as you can, because we need that amicus brief signed. We need to get people understanding that there are real folks behind this, that we're really trying to advocate for something good here. And when it comes to it, they're going to demonize us. And if we're very public and we're very vocal and people know who we are, that we're just regular folks trying to make good, and that we're not scammers, and that we're not trying to shill stuff that's hurting people, then we might win this thing. But that's the only way we can do it, man. I mean, we've got to get this thing. We got to get people together.
You just gave me an idea. I think it's really good. As far as like sending it to people, even on social media, taking a selfie or taking like a video, like a selfie video, and then holding up on a piece of paper, write down PulsePetition.org, hold it up, do a video, and say, hey, I just thought I'm going to do that. I'm going to go.
There you go. That makes it even better. It makes it personalized. Like, hey, look, hey, I'm just calling you, and you can even do it for every one of your people in your phone. You just hold them and say, look, man, I'm sending you this, and I want you to know it's not spam. This is a real deal. I'm really serious about this. Go here and sign this petition for me, and then hit me a text back and let me know you did it. And then, answer them back, hey, thanks, man, appreciate you. You're really helping us out here. Everybody can do this, and if everybody does this, this is what the networking effect is. The reason we have 43,000 signatures is because people got out there and started doing this and started pushing it out there, and we didn't just let it die. We just kept going, and people said we aren't going to get 5, maybe 10,000. No, here we are at 43. I'm about to crack that 50,000 mark, and I think that XRPs might have been it might have been 75,000 people that signed XRPs. And the judge said that amicus brief and the signings of it held weight, and was part of the reason why they dismissed that case against XRP, because the community came to and said what they said. And look, guys, the reason we have SEC investigations going on right now isn't because the SEC found something here and they're uncovering their investigation and exposing Richard Hart and the ecosystem. No, some little bitch ass motherfuckers saw that there was a bounty, that if you turned in a crypto founder, influencer, community, whatever, and they found them guilty, you would get like a $30,000 reward for doing so. So some little bitch did that in order to get this process, to get Richard on blast. And it has hurt us. You look at the price. I think we have an honest countersuit against that little bitch and everybody else in the SEC that has done this to us, because our price has been going down ever since, and more so than all of crypto. And we haven't recovered ever since. So there's something to be said about that. And I hope that, we do take this fight to them, and the amicus brief and the people who signed it have something to say about that also.
Do you think, before we wrap up too, do you think that Richard hinted that, even he would be maybe suing GG or anyone else for price go down and all market manipulation, all that stuff?
I'm signing up on it if it's there. And if it's not, then I'll bring it myself, because I've been hurt by it. And all of my work and effort has been hurt by it.
Not fair. Not fair at all.
Businesses have been hurt by it. And for somebody to blatantly be able to sicken agency on a whole investor class, community of people / whatever you want to call us, and have it affect us as adversely as it has affected us, deserves some repercussions, in my opinion. The corrupt SEC and how it's been, and I have been very, I guess, mild about my speech against the SEC. They have come at me 4 different times already myself. All nothing burgers, but I'm done with them. They will not give us regulation. They will not give us tracks to run on. They will not give us our fair share of this, or our fair say in this. They just want to regulate by enforcement. They don't want to do what's right for the people. I'm the fucking people. I'm born and raised in this country, fought for this country, worked my life off for this country and my family. I should be the one they're protecting, and they're hurting me. So yeah, I got something to say about it. And yeah, I'm going to bring action against it. If there's a class action, I'm getting involved, because they have not done us any good. And the little bitches out there that are trying to capitalize on this haven't done any good either. And I hope that they get theirs. And I know who you are. You got your names, your addresses. I know who all of you are. Thank you so much for that, because we're coming after you. We're coming after us for no reason. Anyway,
we will win.
We will win. We will win in the end, because I know that we're on the right side of history. So anyway, Max, thanks for coming, bro. Appreciate you on short notice too. Well, actually, we've been trying to plan this for a while. Good having you.
Pleasure,
good to hear more about you and who you are and what makes you tick. And I think the community is going to have, a better understanding of who you are too and what makes you tick. And it's about building trust in the community of who we are and what kind of real human beings we are. And you're one of our best. So appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. And again, you guys, everyone, it's like inspiration. Like I look around, am I doing enough work? I literally ask myself, am I doing enough? Like you guys are just, you're setting the bar, and I appreciate you all. And I appreciate you having me on here and conversation as always.
That's good to hear, because I'm always trying to keep up with you guys.
Hey, it's a win-win game. It's a win-win.
Right on. We'll just keep pushing each other. All right, my man. Have a good one. Thanks for coming. We'll see you guys Friday, I guess. Yeah. See ya. Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of the code. Fundamentals of code are better than Bitcoin's fundamentals. The inflation model is better than Bitcoin's inflation model. The staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. It's decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things